Hey everybody, Some Gadget Guy here with a really cool case and camera system for the iPhone 6. This is the Ztylus metal. I'm gonna say Stylus from here on out, even though they've got a really cool Z leading off their name. This is something I was really excited to take a look at because my experiences with the iPhone camera have been slightly better than average. I think it's a mid-pack performer. I think it's very good color, very good saturation, decent macro distances, and an acceptable resolution. But things like this can really help flesh out the photography and video experience on our iPhone. So let's get rid of this box so we can talk about the case system. Now, Stylus Metal is a 3-piece case system built out of metal and this really nice ruggedized rubbery surface here, which is very grippy. It's very easy to hold on to. We unscrew this little retaining bolt back here at the bottom, flip it over, we take our iPhone, we slide it into the top of the case. We slide that bottom piece on and we screw it down nice and tight. Now, I really like this style construction case because I still get a little wiggy about trying to pry out iPhones from rugged cases. And just so you know, the Stylus does not come with this really fancy orange screen guard. That's from another case review I produced earlier on this channel. This is actually my wife's iPhone and she really likes having this plastic guard in place, so I'm leaving it on there now. Thankfully, that means that the Stylus is going to be compatible with a number of different glass screen protectors though. And fully assembled, I think it's a nice, attractive look, which still gives off some of the impression that you're carrying an iPhone. But it's a really pro-looking case that looks tough and it looks like it means business. Walking around the case, we've got nice clicky cutouts for the volume rockers. I love that you can feel directly through the case into the phone's natural clicky keys. And we've got a nice wide cutout to get to the mute switch, which I can even get in there with my fingernail to make sure I can flick off the ringer on the iPhone 6. I like that, it's a very nice touch. Down at the bottom corner, we've got cutouts for a lanyard strap. Again, this is focused on photography, so if you're trying to shoot in more challenging conditions, it's nice to have a little wrist strap attached to your phone. Bottom of the case, we've got these really cool metal cutouts, kind of muscle car style for the speaker, the lightning connector, the microphone, and the 3.5mm headset jack. On the right side of the case, just like the volume rocker, we've got a great cutout for that power button, very clicky response. You can push right through the case into the power button. And at the bottom of the right side, we've got a little dimple here, just a nice little sort of finger rest for when you're using this as a camera. Bottom of the backside, this is the retaining screw. This is how you make sure the two case pieces are fitted together. And at the top of the back, we've got a great assembly here for the camera and the lens system, which we're going to attach in just a minute. Thankfully, while this case is slim, it adds just enough plastic and metal around that plastic to make sure that the camera is recessed from the back of the case. It's one of the potential fears on a phone like the iPhone 6 where this new camera lens, as it protrudes out the back of the phone, it doesn't lie flush with the iPhone 6, that there could be a greater potential for damage in the event of a drop or if it gets scratched up. Thankfully, Apple is using sapphire on that back lens, but still, having a little extra protection on your camera never hurt anybody. Now, this whole circular cover is where the lens system is going to attach. And it does add a little bulk, but for those times where you're not looking at using the lens system, Stylus also gives you a port cover, which doubles as a kickstand. It's a really handy little touch for propping your phone up. Maybe you're traveling, maybe you just want to stream some music or watch some movies. And I'm a big fan of cases that add this little touch right here. I think kickstands are cool, but we don't buy a camera lens case just for the kickstand. Oh no, this piece detaches. We have a little switch right here just below the kickstand. I'm gonna pop a fingernail in there and give it just a bit of a twist. And then this piece comes out, because once you remove that piece, you can attach the RV2 lens attachment. Now, this is a really cool rotatable system which provides 3 different lenses and 4 different shooting scenarios for the iPhone 6. We just line up these little red dots here. I'm gonna push that in and then lock this in place. And now we've got a camera lens system that bolts on to the back of the iPhone 6. And before we get into the lenses, it just really looks the part. It looks like you just converted your phone into a mini rangefinder style camera. Even in the way this attaches as if it were some kind of interchangeable lens camera system. As I mentioned before, this housing rotates and fits 3 different lenses which swing out and clip in front of the camera on the iPhone 6. So just digging a fingernail in there at the top and then swiveling this out, it flips into place and latches into that little plastic housing surrounding the camera. This right here is the fisheye lens. We're gonna collapse that back in, gonna give it 2 clicks. Nice firm action here on the clicking, rotating system. Gonna pop this out here. And now this is a wide angle and macro shooter. So just like some of the other smartphone lenses I've reviewed in the past, you start with a wide angle lens and then you can actually pop the wide angle piece out and you're left with just a macro lens, which brings the focusing distance much, much closer than the iPhone could ever achieve. And we can collapse this back, give it 2 more clicks, and then this is the lens that I actually have the least amount of experience with. This is a circular polarizer, but a polarizer in theory should help you darken elements of a sky. Say you're shooting in a really bright scene, you want to really pull the sky out, you really want to juice up those colors. It can also be helpful in reducing glare and reflections if you're shooting through other pieces of glass like windows. So just taking a look at the output from this system, starting off with the photo directly from the iPhone camera and then hitting it with the wide adapter, you can see it just opens up the field of view. It's a little nicer. We do have some fringing moving into the sides, but with the scene or a view this wide, I'm not really sure that that's going to be horribly detrimental. And then pushing into a fisheye view, I mean, it really is going to cut into the middle of that frame, giving you that 180-degree field of view. But it's a really dramatic look or effect that you can throw into Instagram, crop that into a square. I think it's going to look really cool. Once again on a street scene from the iPhone, into a wider shot, and again the fisheye. But if you followed any of my camera reviews in the past, you would know that I am a hardcore macro shooter. I like getting as close to my subject as I possibly can. We can get some stunningly close photos of tiny little objects. For example, here's a tiny little flower blossom that's just slightly bigger than my pinky nail. And we can even see all of the detail around the pollen on this wild lily. It's just stunning how close we can get looking at all of the furry little elements on a hibiscus. And of course, I had to get before and after shots on a dandelion. And lastly, we had beautiful weather going on in Southern California, so I don't know that I really had the best setup to try and check out the polarizer, but spinning it around and checking out a couple different shots, we can see that the coloration in the sky does change as you spin that lens around. Like I said before, I just don't have as much experience playing with polarizers, so I'm not really quite as good at getting the best results out of it to show what that lens can really do. But of course, that's not all, folks. This Ztylus system is a proper system. We can pop this off. Like I said, we can also use the little kickstand here, but sold separately from this kit, the case and lens combo, Ztylus also makes a little ring flash. Just like the lens kit, it pops onto the back and it does add quite a bit of bulk. This whole lighting kit is powered by 3 AAA batteries. But once we have this locked in place on the back of the case, we swivel this ring flash around the camera. It fully encompasses the camera module on the back of the phone. We've got a little red button down here. I love little red buttons. Let's push this little red button and see what happens. And we can see these LEDs kick on. And now we have a pair of little rocker switches here at the side of the lighting housing, which allow you to dial up the brightness of the white LEDs and the slightly more orange LEDs separately so that you can achieve the color that you want. So if I just swivel this one up a little, you'll see that it gets brighter, it gets brighter, it gets brighter, and then bam, we've got hot orange light. I can back it off, and then on the other side, I can dial up the white lights, get something really bright and whitish, or I can fire up both and get a ton of illumination in a mixed white-yellow lighting system. Very much like the LEDs built into the iPhone 6 in adjusting for color accuracy, this is now giving you the ability to manually adjust that color space. And not only do we have control over the individual white and yellow LEDs, we can also pop off, we've got a little filter here, so we can pop off this diffuser, and we can put on a harder diffuser. So let me just kind of put that in place, and then we'll click this back on and crank these lights. This is going to provide us a softer light coming off of these LEDs. We could just completely remove the diffusers and have hard LED light hitting your subject. We also have a slightly more pinkish adapter here. Just again, it's another way that we can subtly warm up the light coming off of this LED rig. It's just a really impressive system for giving us a few extra tools to improve our smartphone photography. And there's a lot of stuff that you can shoot with this setup, which is going to look very professional. Really, if I have a concern with Ztylus' system here, is that part of the system is dependent on a case which is proprietarily made for one specific phone model. Now, hopefully moving forward, as they've made this system in the past for the iPhone 5 and 5S, hopefully all that will mean is that you have to buy a new case and then you can keep using the same lighting and lens attachment system. But of course, there are no guarantees that Apple won't do something radical with a future iPhone, which means you'd probably have to invest in new lenses and a new light moving forward. But if you're rocking the iPhone 5, 5S, or iPhone 6 and you're looking at improving your mobile photography game, this is a setup I would definitely recommend checking out. Now, shopping this kit online, I found the Ztylus metal case and the revolver lens attachment as a combo package package for $99.99, and the little Ztylus ring light adapter can be found for around $54, $55. Again, shopping it online, that was the best street price I could find for that puppy, which I think if you're shooting in a lot of mixed lighting scenarios, you just need better illumination than what the iPhone flash can provide. That's not bad pricing for a pretty sophisticated dual action LED adjustable light system for your iPhone. At the time this video was shot, total price for this entire package here is less than 160 bucks, which if you're a smartphone camera snob like I am, is a more than reasonable price to pay to really up your mobile photography game. Want to send a big thank you shout out to the folks at Ztylus for sending this kit my way. It's been a lot of fun to shoot with, gotten some phenomenal results out of it. And I'll of course leave some links down below this video where you can find more information on Ztylus products, this metal camera case for the iPhone 6, and these different camera accessories, and where you can shop these puppies online. As always, folks, thanks so much for watching. Be sure to hit subscribe for more videos and reviews like these, and I would not be able to continue producing on this channel if you all weren't out there sharing my videos on social sites like Facebook and Twitter and Google+ and the Reddit. So please keep bringing more cool people to the party. Hit that thumbs up button, and I will catch you all on the next review.